This is Steve Warnfelds. I am the executive producer of Made in Aurora Volume 1. It's an album that has been nominated in the Compilation category for the 11th Annual Independent Music Awards. And here we are in my store, Kiss the Sky, located in Geneva, Illinois.
I am Kevin Trudeau. This is Back Third Audio in Aurora, Illinois, where I am from. Aurora is a place that has kind of fallen apart over the last, well, as long as I've been here. And it wasn't cohesive to begin with, but it's worse now. The downtown's relatively abandoned. There's not much going on. As a musician, there's not a lot of places to play, there's not a lot of opportunities to do things. There's a whole greater area though, and there's a lot of talent. While there's no real scene, there's a lot of great musicians that are from here in this whole Fox Valley area.
Music scene out here, there's a lot of good players. In fact, I've had people in other cities ask me, and DJs and things like, you know, what is going on out there in the Fox Valley? There's so many good songwriters in such a place where there's not a real big music scene, and I found that to be true. I know a lot of great players, great writers out here. There's not a lot of great venues necessarily. There's a lot more cover music venues out here. The bars and the atmosphere places you might play actually tend to gravitate strongly towards like fried food and crap on the walls. So it's not really the most friendly thing for somebody that wants to write songs to be here. You go into the city and the money's terrible, so you try to stay here and you try to forge your own way, and its own, there isn't a model.
This is like a Cheers bar, if you will. And people come here, we try to solve the problems of the world, and one of the major problems of the world that we've been trying to solve is how to get good local music out there, heard, bought, and paid for.
I was in the record store here because it's sort of like the local barber shop maybe from the past, where we kind of, it's a good place to loiter. And so I was in here one day, dark day, with another local musician, Greg Berner.
And we had noticed that a lot of some kids were in here, like 19, 20-year-old kids, and buying records rather than CDs. And I was really surprised by that. And Steve said, our record sales are really, becoming more and more prominent.
I remember thinking and talking about how I always wanted to put out a vinyl record after putting out many CDs.
We've made CDs, and we're happy to do that, but I grew up listening to records, and I've never gotten to make a record. And Steve honestly just said, oh, why don't we do that?
The artists for the record were chosen by Benji Hughes, who was the producer of the record, owns Back Third Audio, the place at which the record was recorded, hence, and it's also located in Aurora, Illinois, hence the Made in Aurora tag. Benji and I put our heads together. Each one of us knew a group of local artists that we thought were excellent, extremely professional, perfect for this album. We decided upon a vibe for the record, which was a rootsy Americana feel.
They encouraged us to hang out through the whole 3-day process, not just when we were recording our songs. So I mostly did, so I got to meet a lot of people, watch other people record. It was a very loose vibe, very fun, a lot of collaboration going on. You bring 15, 20 instruments in a room and got another 10 voices and 15 voices, and it's just something that you don't get to do. It's not feasible to do live. I can't afford to pay those guys. So it was a very cool, once-in-a-lifetime experience in a very, very cool old building.
The whole project was funded in part by Kiss the Sky, the record store, and me personally, and I was totally reimbursed, the store was reimbursed, and we actually made money on the project, and all those proceeds, we didn't make money on the project, but the project made money, and all that money was donated to a local charity called the Paul Ruby Foundation, which is put together to fight Parkinson's disease. The record can be heard in part on the website of the Independent Music Awards. It can also be heard at madeinaurora.com.
There's, again, this whole movement to make this place the kind of place you want to live. And right now it's not. And this is a part of that. So I don't know that I can see a concrete effect. I don't know that I can see it at this point right now. But I think as this goes and as this grows and there's exposure and there's other people involved, and there's now not just me caring about playing in Aurora, but there's now 50-some musicians that were involved in that, I think there's definitely been the positive benefit that's happening slowly.
I don't like iTunes, so I'm not going to mention them. Where else can you hear it then? Amazon.com, right? I don't like them either.